Okay. I guess, I'll figure it out. Hello, everybody. I'm going to do an illustrated view of the human haplogroups, the most updated version. And I'm a little bit short for time, maybe. I'm going to try to see if I can get through this. Good morning, Christian Carpenter. Good to see you. All right, so we'll try to get through this real quick. Let me see if I can get this going. Get my file up here. 1 minute. Okay. This up here. All right. Okay. It's down there. Okay. Share screen here. And you just go ahead and make this move here and the screen. Okay, so this is an ancient map. Well, actually, I guess it's Greek to me or something. You can see the general thing. What I want to show here is just the validity of all of these ancient nations. I'm not making this. Nobody's making any of this stuff up. This is all known ancient civilizations and known human history. For example, this is Babylonia, this is Mesopotamia, this is the Euphrates and the Tigris and Euphrates and the Arabian Sea, Arabia, Syria. Oh, look at this, Cappadocia. Iberia. I don't know how Iberia got there, but Iberia, I guess, got transferred. I guess they left here and went to Iberia, named it Iberia. So we got Media, of course, the Medes, Persia. Anyways, I got to move along. Yeah. So this is the ancient church, 7 churches of Asia. For example, this is what they call Asia Minor. They call it Anatolia. Of course, Thrace. Notice this Thrace here. Thrace is the Thracians. This is part of Greece. The part of Greece that almost connects to Anatolia, or that maybe used to connect Anatolia, or otherwise today known as Turkey. Okay, not necessarily in the proper order here. Is the human O haplogroup. This is the largest haplogroup in the world, Y-DNA haplogroup. And you'll notice the area is concentrated here, and it's assigned as Magog. Of course, they invaded Japan. Up in here is another Y chromosome, the DY chromosome as well. So this is interesting, and it's interesting too that it's all the way here in Madagascar. In South Asia, highly concentrated, even New Zealand. Okay. Let me run through this as fast as I can. Okay, these are the table of nations, the nations of Genesis 10. So you will notice there is, well, descendants of Japheth, Descendants of Ham, descendants of Shem. This is an ongoing theme. Of course, these are all known ancient civilizations, of course. Yeah, Hittites, Amorites, Jebusites, Canaanites, Perizzites, all these things. Philistines came from Caphtorim, or they came from over here somewhere, and they became the Philistines to annoy Israel. And okay, so then we have the sons of Shem, Lud and Lydia. Aram is the Arameans that were also a pain sometimes. Asher, which is the Assyrians, which were a pain other times. Elam, which is the Elamites, another pain sometimes. And those are the 5 sons of Shem, including Arphaxad. Lud, Aram, Asher, Elam, Arphaxad. Joktan is descendant of Arphaxad, I believe. Okay. As we'll see, the descendants of Ham are Canaan, Mitzrayim, Put, and the other one is Cush, which is very, very well known. The descendants of Japheth are Javan, Tiraz, which is not even shown here, Gomer, Madai, Meshech, Tubal, Magog, and I got Gomer. The 7 sons. Anyways, they're not shown here. We got to find a better map. Okay, this is the mitochondrial DNA, which is 95% of Europe is a derivative of this U mitochondrial DNA haplogroup, the maternal lineages, which originated apparently here, or it's a Semitic mitochondrial haplogroup anyway. So not necessarily in the right order. This is S in Papua New Guinea, the New Guinea part. The other one would be M, would be the other half of Papua New Guinea. And these are very familiar names if you read the Bible. Philippi, Thessalonica, Corinth, Bithynia, Pontus, Galatia, Media, Cappadocia, Ephesus, Cyprus, Crete, Jerusalem. And here we have Cush down here, Gomer up here. And that's correct. Okay. Remember, Cretians are always liars. But they're descended from Javan, which we'll see in a little bit as time goes on. And by the way, if you hear, if anybody wants a hound dog, to take care of, we have a very friendly hound dog outside making a lot of noise. So, but anyway, we got Put, Mitzrayim, Cush, Canaan, and we have Javan, Tiraz, Magog, Tubal, Madai. We got Gomer and Meshech, their 7 sons. Javan, Tiraz, 1, 2, Gomer, 3, Meshech, 4, Madai, 5, Magog, and Tubal, 7 sons of Japheth. The sons of Ham are Lud, Asher, Aram, Elam, Arphaxad, sons of Shem. Anyway, so this is a little bit redundant, except that people need to understand, if you can get one thing from this video, is that the ancient civilizations are real. And the Bible names them all before they became ancient civilizations. Now, this is the Greek L, Y chromosome haplogroup from Greece, from here. Originated, of course, the T is here and the L is here. Of course, today it's still here. But what happened was when Alexander the Great went to India, look what he took with him. He took the Greek L haplogroup into India, which remains there to this day, probably in greater numbers than in Greece today. Okay. It is very, very significant. And this is the same thing. Okay. So here's another one. The Hattusas, the Hattis, otherwise known as the later forms of Hittites. Assyria, from Asher. The god of Assyria was Asher, who is also the ancestor of Assyrian, the Assyrian haplogroup of G. Okay. And okay, so up here we have that would be Thracia. This would be area of Javan, and these are, of course, this is a later map. It's not going to have everything, but it's got Elam. Elam is a real ancient civilization. Assyria, Egypt, and the Mer Rouge. The Mer Rouge, or the Red Sea. And there's Aleppo. It's there to this day. Anyway, so not necessarily in the proper order. This is the mitochondrial DNA. The L haplogroup is the Hamitic mitochondrial DNA of the maternal side, only found in Africa originally. Only in Africa originally. Okay, the M designation would be the Japhethite mitochondrial maternal lineage, which is for some reason not as prevalent as either the L or the R or the Semitic. Not the R. The R is a derivative, isn't it? No, the R is the okay, the N. Anyway, the M is the Japhethite mitochondrial DNA, and it's not found all that much. It's the C, the D, the G, the E, the Z, and maybe some others. But the C and the D are found in America, and these others, the other ones are found in Asia, and of course the M. But these are not found as many, which leads me to believe that Japheth didn't have very many daughters, as opposed to Shem, who had some daughters, so much so that Japheth asked to marry one of the daughters of Shem. That's why in America there's not only the C and the D, but the A and the B, which are two different branches, but they're still Semitic. Of course, here's the U that we were looking at earlier. This is Europe. This is the mitochondrial DNA haplogroup in Europe. 95% of Europeans have these designations here. H. I'm an H3G, if anyone cares to know. Anyway. Thousands Genome Project mitochondrial phylogeny. Very well respected, by the way. And you can see specific genetic distance between here and here and here and here. In other words, this group here has genetic distance between this group here, and there's genetic distance between both of these and this group here. Okay. Now this is the T paternal Y chromosome that went to India, that Alexander the Great took from Greece and brought all the way to India. But the interesting thing is that Greece has a history of having trade with the Horn of Africa. So, and there's significant populations here that claim their ancestry back to Greece. And I believe, is the L there too? It might be there too. Okay. This is just a map. Okay, this is the map that was interesting to me when I was looking for tubal, because we know that Italy has a lot of J2, a lot of I, which is Israel, a lot of J, which is Arabic or Israel, a lot of, well, G is part of Israel too, in many cases, but you can see 2/3 of the population is Israel or Judah. More, or this is 1/3, this is almost 2/3 of the population, Israel or Judah. And up in here, still significant, 1/4 of the population is Israel or Judah, up in the mountains of northern Italy. Okay, let me just double check here. If I may, let me see, where's my StreamYard? No, not this one. This one here. Christian Carpenter, Doki Doki. And let me see, I was just double checking to make sure everything is okay. Hopefully everything's okay. All right, so back to here. So this is, yeah, before I go on for hours or whatever, make sure everything's okay. So I was looking for a tubal. Remember, I was looking for a tubal, and I had assigned tubal the KY chromosome because that was the only one left, basically, in the area that could possibly be tubal. So I assigned everybody else. Gomer was easy. Magog was easy. Madai was easy. Taraz and Javan were pretty easy, fairly easy. And so the Meshach was easy. That was up north. I mean, not saying that they sometimes have the N and the O connected together, but N is Meshach separated, they're completely separated lines. N is up north, separated from the O and Magog. So the only one left was Tubal, and I just assigned it as K because that was the only one left. But then an interesting thing happened when I was watching Matt Mann's illustrations of the Garden of Eden. So I was watching the illustrations of the Garden of Eden by Matt Mann, and he showed that Madai was up in Europe. And then I remembered, hey, the Q paternal Y chromosome is up in Europe too. And I wondered how it got there. But he also showed that Tubal was in Italy. And I'm thinking, oh, wow, that's interesting. I hope that Tubal, I hope I can find K in Italy. So here we go. This is northern Italy, by the way, northern Italy. And we have 2% K here, and 2% K here. So it's 4% in northern Italy of the original people that were in Italy, which was Tubal. The other ones are invaders, basically. They're people that came later, which would be the Southern Europeans, R1b, Southern European, R1, that's European, R1b. So half the population here is Gomer. This E percentage here, this is 8% and this 1%. This is it's Hamitic. Okay, now we start with the Semitic would be G, which is also common in the Judaic populations here. So there's G, which is Assyria, which went there anyways, which went to Europe anyway. And now we start, this is Semitic, and then now we start with the I's and the J's and the J2, all the way to the J2. So the I and the J, well, the I is a large amount because that's where the tribes of Israel went up through this area, the Slavic regions. So that's why the I is more prevalent there than even the J2. Central Italy, we have J2, huge population, plus the huge same population, 13% of I. And this would be the regular J or the J1, which would be Arabic or Israelite. So there we have it. But in central Italy, now we have 8% K, which is the original population. So the original population of Tubal, descendants of Tubal, 8%, which is a significant population, still live in Italy because they. So I'm confirmed once more to have accurately predicted. You know, creationists make more predictions than evolutionists. I accurately predicted that the K2 would be in Italy, and I found it in Italy. Thankfully. Of course, this is Gomer, this is Ham, and this is all Semitic. So 2/3 of the population here in Italy, Semitic, Judaic. 1/3 of the population in Italy is probably descended from King David and Solomon. There's a lot of people, I don't know if they pay attention or not, but it's a fact. This is Judaic here, and only 1% K population, of course, is just to be expected in southern Italy, which has a lot of other things here going on. But still, half Semitic population in southern Italy. So, which G is Semitic too, but that's Assyrian, which went there. They went there on their own. But Israel was so closely associated with the Assyrians is that they have the G in their populations as well, the Jewish people. So Tubal is confirmed 8% as having been the original population in Italy. And of course, then there's plus Gomer, plus Asher, plus Hamitic, and plus Israel, and the Arabic nations. So that confirms that, and this is the Fertile Crescent. Just by way of hammering in that these are known ancient civilizations. Lydia is Lud. Media is Madai. And Asher is the god or ancestor of Assyria, which many times the gods of the people are their ancestors, it's ancestor praise or worship, because they wouldn't be who they are if it wasn't for their ancestors. Their ancestor gave them everything they have. They are who they are because of their ancestors. So that's why they, eulogize their ancestors as God. So, and then it became a god. That became their god, Asher of the Assyrians. So these are real people with real known history of real events, Egypt, etc. Just to hammer that in, if I haven't overemphasized it already, Lydia, Lud, Media, Madai, Asher, Assyrians from Asher, and the whole Fertile Crescent. This is without even trying to tie it in with the biblical records, because the Bible is a part of human history, whether people like to admit it or not. Okay, this is just distribution of the Y chromosome, which I've spoken of many times before already. Well, the main ones being R, which is Gomer, E, which is Ham, plus there's C, the purple. See this purple up here? Which would be Nimrod, descendants of Nimrod. And of course, G is Assyria. G is Assyria. And K is Tubal. So then we have Tubal here, which is, of course, Tubal was in this area as well. Of course, this area of Anatolia was originally the area of the nations or the sons of Japheth, Japhethites, the northern nations. So you would expect to find K, and you do, in significant quantities here. And this lends credence to the fact that the population of K spread all the way into Asia as well, all the way to Australia, all the way to Papua New Guinea, which I believe the M and the S are derivatives of K as well. So, just a basic overview. Okay. Probably can't see this very well here, but it says Thrace. Thracians, that's designated as the LY chromosome there. And these are all the churches, all the places known to people who study the Bible. Cyprus, Persia, Lydia, Pamphylia, Cappadocia, Galatia, and places. This one's not as clear, but okay. This is the secular view of what happened they talk about the corded ware and the this type of pottery, that type of pottery, and it's basically talking about the descendants of Gomer, which are Ashkenaz, R1A, and R1B would be Tiraz. Not Tiraz, what am I saying? R1B is Riphath, and the other one would be Togarmah. That's if the R1B is Riphath and not Togarmah. which I'm pretty sure so far I'm just designating R1b as Riphath instead of Togarma. But it looks like that's what happened because this is between the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea. There's a pass going through here. That's the route that people took going to Europe by way of the steppes, going east and going west. And all of Europe became R1A and R1B, descendants of Gomer, which is a well-known fact in secular history as well. So, and it's talking. So this is secular history confirming, the biblical historical record as well, because of course this is Semitic. This is Semitic. This whole area is Semitic, well known to be Semitic, and it is, and to this day, it's all Semitic. And it's also known that the Semitic, but not, well, it's not well known, but I mean, it should be well known. It's well confirmed that the I-2, which is hugely in this area, the Slavic area, there's an I-2 and I-1 that went up through Germany, up the Rhine River, as well as the J2, which are known as Ashkenazi Jewish people, who took on the name of the son of Japheth, which is the R1A, as Ashkenaz. So they took on his name. They identified themselves as being Ashkenazi because of their location on the Rhine River in the area of the descendants of Ashkenaz. So that fits in very well. So moving right along, before I get late and I have to start running. I got Arabia, Egypt. Okay. Oh, Napoleon's campaign in Egypt. Okay. Here's an old map that's interesting. They have Africa connecting to Iberia. Africa connecting to Iberia. They have the Horn of Africa connecting to Saudi Arabia. And a lot of other interesting things too, which I really can't run through too much because, of course, Anatolia is connected to Greece as well. So they have these three places that are, as far as they are concerned, are all connected here, which the water level was lower, could have been lower. Maybe it hadn't yet opened up these places here. Of course, this could have been before the Black Sea or the Mediterranean Sea also spilled into the Black Sea and made it all salt water, because it used to be a freshwater. It used to have freshwater fish, but that's another whole rabbit hole story, but it is confirmed, So here, this is Ashkenaz, an M458 Ashkenaz, R1A, and you can see its location, of course, having come through either this area or this area to settle in Europe, which the Jewish people took on for their own name. Of course, this is Germany up the Rhine River here, where they traded. But the J2, believe it or not, we know about the Ashkenazi up trading on the Rhine River. We don't know as much about the J2 Judaic descendants of David also trading on the Silk Road, which is another very interesting thing, because the same way that you have the J2s up in here, you have even more so the J2s along the Silk Road, which is a very interesting part of history that nobody ever told me. So there's a lot that can be learned, of course, just by studying on your own, you know, human history. But there we have it. It's and of course these were various people, various known civilization people. The steppe, they call them the steppe people too as well, which is more of the same, I guess. Okay, this is the pass between the Caspian Sea and the Black Sea. It's a very important area because this is the pass where they used to travel between up into the area north of the Black Sea and over around the Caspian Sea, like Magog, Meshech. Meshech went way up north. Magog went around over to the east. So it's a very important pass in human history because this is all mountains, but there is a pass through there. So, and it seemed like every time an ancient civilization became strong and then became weak, they ran for the mountains. But anyway, that's another story. This is the D haplogroup. Now this is, guess what? Hamitic. This is the Hamitic haplogroup in Asia, which would be Tibet, basically the area of Tibet, and another place over here too. But anyways, and Japan. Of course, it actually goes up through here all the way to Japan. And the Japanese would be descendants of Kush, because the D and the C Y chromosome haplogroups are the descendants of Kush. So these northern Japanese have beards and curly hair, and but even so, the a huge, like half the Japanese almost, and more than half up here are descendants of Kush. Direct paternal line descendants of Kush. Not just autosomally, but they're both autosomally and paternally descendants of Kush, direct descendants of Kush. And then, as proved by the DY chromosome, which also is in the Andamanese Islands down here, as you can see down here, the Andamanese also have the DY chromosome. So, and this is totally removed from Africa. They never went to Africa. Okay, so this one here is just an illustration of the R1b. England and Ireland and Scotland were heavily influenced by R1b. So it's just showing the migration going this way, and the I going this way, and the R1a, which is Ashkenaz, going this way, which is actually around this whole area here. The R1a is Ashkenaz all around here. This would be Riphath, Andor, Togarma. But anyways, maybe that's why they show the Spain and Africa connected, because it's so close together, but still, it may have been connected at one time when the sea level was lower. When the sea level rose up, then that changed everything. And it's a known fact that the Black Sea used to be fresh water and it became salt water because of what happened, because of the sea level rise of the Mediterranean. So I was talking about Javan and his sons in the Mediterranean. So his sons are Elisha, Kittim, Tarshish, and I think Rama or somebody. There's another one, Rama or something. So, yeah, moving right along. I got to move right along. Might have to go pretty soon. Yeah. I really like to take a long time going through this. This is just Not as accurate, not so accurate, but it's just showing some of the same things. Okay. This must be an area like Scandinavia, or I mean not Scandinavia, but the Slavic areas that have a lot of Israelite population, the lost tribes of Israel. Okay, this is Meshach. A lot of the Danes and Finnish have the NY chromosome, paternal Y chromosome, from Meshach. The Finns and Danes and stuff, you know. Okay, so this is Japheth, as I've already mentioned. 7 sons: Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshach, and Tiraz. Javan and Tiraz settled in Greece, Tubal in Italy, Meshach up north, where we just saw. Madai is Media and in Europe as well. And Magog is the OY chromosome, went all the way to China. Javan, these are the sons of Javan, as I was saying, Elisha, Tarshish, Kittim, and Rodanim, or Rhodes, the ancestor of Rhodes or something like that. Gomer, of course, is Ashkenaz, Riphath, and Togarmah. This is a good map. You can spend a lot of time looking at it because it's got pictures of animals on it, which is interesting. But more than that, there's the sons of Abraham by way of Sarah, Hagar, and Keturah. So it actually shows them here: Sarah, Hagar, and Keturah descendants. Okay, we got Shem, Ham, and Japheth. So the purple ones are Ham, which are the Ham, which are in Africa. The Shem is Lud. There's Eber and Peleg, which are descendants of Arpachshad, Asher, Aram, and Elam. And Uz and Gether are from Arameans. And from Arpachshad, you have some of these, what they call Arabic peoples as well. So some of the Arabic people are from, as they say, Ishmael and Keturah, but other Arabic people are from descendants of Arpachshad, which are Joktan, and these people here are the Arabic people. Plus Elam, they considered themselves Arabic when they went to India, because they're found in India as well as being gypsies in Europe. So we got the Hatti of the Hittites, we got the Assyrian, Babylonian, Elam, and Egypt. Egypt controlled all this area until Israel moved in to the Promised Land. When Israel left Egypt, that's when Egypt lost control of this whole area, because Egypt had control over this entire area here. So Israel left Egypt. Egypt lost control of this area. That's why they moved in and basically had to take over or be taken over by the people that were in this area here. That used to be formerly Egypt, which was Canaan, which is the cousin of Mitzrayim, or the brother of Mitzrayim. The descendants are cousins of the descendants of Mitzrayim. So that's real quick. Persian Empire, Scythia again. Remember the mountain pass? These are the mountain pass, Scythia. This is the R. This is the Ashkenaz R1AY chromosome. They went this way and this way. And, they say they come from this way, but not so much. They went this way and this way. The trade here, Greece traded with the Scythians. The Scythians invaded Palestine, or what? On several occasions. They were like the Scythians were like hired people. They traded with the people, and they hired them as soldiers to invade different places as well. course, you see Nineveh, Media, Scythian invasion routes, Assyria, Mesopotamia, Babylon, Greek. Okay. So this is hard to tell because all the drab colors here. It's hard to tell what's what here but you can see the A, B, D, E, C. But it's a lot of time. You can spend a lot of time looking at the map, which I don't have time right now. But here's genealogy of Noah. You got the biblical records and non-biblical sources, which would be the Chinese, but it's the same as Noah. So it's the same route, it's just that different records. But the more accurate one, of course, is the biblical records that names all the descendants of the three sons of Noah, which is the Eurasians, which is Gomer, Madai, Magog, Tubal, Javan, Tiraz, Meshech, 7 sons, not as many daughters. So Madai asked Shem to marry one of his daughters. That's why there is a Middle Eastern mitochondrial haplogroup, and there is an Asian Semitic mitochondrial haplogroup as well, because one of the daughters of Shem was married by Madai, went all the way, the line goes all the way to America. And of course, Nimrod, they call Assyria is from Asher, which is Semitic, but Nimrod was the only Hamitic person from Ham and from Cush, actually, that became basically the king in the area of Chaldea or of the Chaldees, where Abraham also was. And of course, Nimrod tried to kill Abraham on several occasions. And these people, it shows them under Ham, but actually they were largely Semitic populations as well. Just to be informed, just for the record. Okay, the other thing of note here is the ages. They show the ages here. Notice these are less than 500 years old, right? So the lifespan was cut in half by the global flood, because we know before the global flood, before Noah, they lived almost 1,000 years, just under 1,000. So the lifespan was cut in half, so that's under 500 years. And then something happened here in the days of Peleg. Lifespan was cut in half again to under 250 years. So got cut to under 500 years to under 250 years in the days of Peleg. So something happened in the days of Peleg, another catastrophe like the continents breaking apart, that frightened everybody. Everybody divided up into their family groups and began speaking their own languages. And of course, everything is by the hand of God. So that's what God did. He made them speak different languages. So now you know the rest of the story, which is another rabbit hole, another can of worms. But so pounding in again, Tarshish, Elisha, Javan, Kittim, Philistia. Well, Philistia came from Captor, and they kind of moved over here and became a thorn in the side of Israel. And they have all the same ancient nations known. There's Ashkenaz, Tiraz, Javan. But you can see clearly here the sons of Javan is Tarshish, Elisha, Kittim, and the other one is Rhodes or Rodim, which is not here. But other than that, it's a pretty good map of all the people. Tubal, Gomer, Togarmah, Ashkenaz, and where's Riphath? There's Riphath here. Asher, Aram, Lud, Elam, Arpachshad. Mash is somebody's son. Joktan is Semitic. These are Semitic. So these are the Arabic people. Okay, the reason why these are Hamitic is because they're probably descendants of Nimrod. One of these became the DY chromosome in all probability. Okay, so either the DY chromosome is Nimrod's brother, son of Cush, or one of Nimrod's descendants is a DY chromosome, which is a separate line from one of his sons, which likely went this direction here. So there we go. Here's an interesting, what's this, the Garden of Eden? This is one of Matt's maps, Matt Mann's map of the Garden of Eden or something, maybe east of Eden. Anyways, and it doesn't show these connected. It doesn't show Anatolia connected to Greece or Spain with Africa or the Horn of Africa, which goes all the way out here, the Horn of Africa with Arabia or anything like that. So this is a pretty good map here. This is pretty good, accurate map. If you can look at it, if you can study it, you have all these things. Ashkenaz, which is the Phrygians. Tiraz, which is Thracia. So we definitely know. And then the Dan and Dan is the lost tribe. Dan got lost. Dan was the first tribe to get lost, and they got lost in all over the Mediterranean and stuff. But we have, this is the correct location here for the Thracians. This is the correct location here for the Javans. You notice the Kittim, Rhodes. Now we have Rhodes. There's Rhodes. And it has Tarshish here. But maybe Tarshish moved other places. They start one place and then they go to the other place and they name it the same place sometimes. Tubal, Togarma. Anyways, we can spend a lot of time talking about that too. Okay. This is the K. No, this is the CY chromosome. Okay. So the CY chromosome goes into America, where they have the Olmec statue. It goes all the way into South America. It's in this location as well, in these tribes over here, as well as Australia. So this is the CY chromosome, not the KY chromosome. But the KY chromosome also went into Australia as well, and Papua New Guinea, which is right there. But moving right along, the Q. Remember the Q was in Europe, Madai. Remember Madman said Madai was in Europe? There it is. To this day, the QY chromosome in Europe, where Madai was said to have been. So, moving right along, the GY chromosome is Assyria. Remember I said every time they run to the mountains to hide? Anyways, GY chromosome. This is the one here is very interesting. I spent a lot of time talking about it already. But we have an interesting anomaly here, which is America. See, America is brown, but then we look here, see what haplogroups we have located in America. Look at this. We have here the B and the E in America. We have the G in America. We have the I1, Israel, I2, Israel, J2, no, it's J1 is Arabic and Israel, and J2 in America, and the T. Remember the T? Is also in the population of the Jewish people as well in America. Plus, Of course, there's Q in America, which is Madai, but we have the R1b in America. And they were always trying to figure out how the R1b got to America. But notice here, there's more T in America than there is R1b. So you know they're trying to hide something. So can anyone say Mediterranean Phoenicians? Because every time the American Indians do a DNA test, it comes back Mediterranean. They're trying to figure out why. So with all these chromosomes, this is Mediterranean. R1b is Mediterranean. T is Mediterranean. J2, of course, and J1 connecting up with the Phoenicians and the trade routes of the Phoenicians is Mediterranean. J2, I2, I1. This is before Israel separated from Judah. So we have the I2 and the I1 represented in America because of their association with the Phoenicians. Before they separated, before they were kicked out of the land of Israel, who went to America by way of the Phoenicians, as well as the Assyrian Y chromosome, and the North African E's, and even B in America. Can anybody say Mediterranean Phoenician? Anyway, I was harping on that. So there we have it. Phoenicians, of course, were in this area. The later Phoenicians, early Phoenicians are Put, descendants of Put, North Africans. And so Javan, of course, is a T. Asher is the G. And of course, the I and the J are Israel and Judah. And the E and the B, Mediterranean, all went to America by way of the Phoenician trade routes because they controlled all the trade routes in the Mediterranean. So, and Madai, of course, is a Q that was already in America. So, and may have gone there afterwards too. I mean, may have come back from America too. As a matter of fact, I believe that's a probability. Okay, let me see. Yeah, you can see all the separation here. Well, maybe. And I have to go, otherwise I'm going to be late. But you can see this is all, Tower of Babel, land of Shinar. Who was the king of the land of Shinar? Nimrod was the king of the land of Shinar. Ur of the Chaldees, where Abraham was, where they dug up and found idols that probably Abraham's father made, or maybe somebody that his father knew. Because Abraham's father was Nimrod's right-hand man. And when Abraham smashed the statues, then he got in trouble with Nimrod, and Nimrod tried to kill him. Because this is the ancient, the Persian Gulf, this is the ancient coastline of the Persian Gulf all the way up to Ur. Ur of the Chaldees was on the coast at the time. But, yeah. So I got to go now, probably. It's a lot of study, a lot to know, a lot to learn, but it's all verifying the same thing. These are actual nations, actual human history, known human history, haplogroups. This is the mtDNA W. Okay. Just so much to learn, right? This is EM81, which would be the original Phoenician Berbers, or the original descendants of Put in Africa, North Africa. Okay, there's so much to go over, so much to cover. This is the I, both I1 and I2. So this is Semitic, by the way. These are the lost tribes of Israel. So the lost tribes of Israel aren't very lost, are they? They're still there. Not lost at all, right? Not with God. God doesn't lose track of anybody, right? So yeah, not very lost at all. Okay, now we have the Y chromosome. Similar's Gito Project Y chromosome. Africa, notice the C and the D, and the E2 and E1, E1. Where's the E3? Canaan, Put, Mitzrayim, and Cush are all E3. E3 is missing. It would be down here because the C and the D came from the E3. All these A and the B's came from the E3. That's one thing that they're trying to keep under wraps. Of course, the Semitic, notice the G, the A, Elam, Assyria, Aram. Who's this? This is Lydia, Lud. Completely different line from the F1, right? Completely, they call it F and F2, but that's because they did it wrong, and they had to name this F2 because it was another Semitic in the area, totally unrelated to F1. But anyways, and then we have the I and the J is the descendants of Arpachshad. Okay. Plus the Europeans, these are the sons of Gomer, R1A, R1B. This is Madai. Remember the M and the S and the K? I believe they're all the same branch. That would be Tubal. Then there's a L, Tiraz, T, Javan, N, Meshech, and O, Magog. See, because in here you can't tell. The closer you get here, it's the same Y chromosome anyway. So you can't really tell how they connect in this area here as well. So moving right along, I have to take off now. Here's the one. Descendants of Cush, Nimrod, Sheba, Havilah, Sapta. These are basically, it's a mixture of half Semitic, half Arabic, or because it's here in Joktan, you have some of the same names, even Havilah, But this is a Semitic line, and this is the supposed to be Hamitic line, but it's also Semitic because Cush was the only Y chromosome in the area, and there's no L's in the area from the wife of Ham. So there's Cush, Egypt, Put, and Canaan. These are all the Hittites, the Jebusites, the Amorites, the Girgashites, the Hivitites, Archezites, Sinaites, Harvadites, Hamathites. And Heth is the Hittites, Anatolia. Of course, Ludin became Lydia, all this stuff. Philistine, the Captorin from the Isle of Captor or whatever became the Philistines, and all that. And the sons of Javan, Elisha, this is Mediterranean, all Mediterranean. This is all Europe. And Madai was in Europe. Tubal was in Europe. Meshech and Magog went east. Tiraz and Javan are Greeks. Everybody's accounted for. Everybody's present and accounted for. So here, Aram, you have Uz, Gether, Meshech, and Hu. Okay. That's about it. So I'll end with this map here, which shows all of what I was just saying. Here's the gypsies. Here's Israel. They call it Germanic, but look how they do. They got the R1B the same color as the I, so it's confusing. So you don't know what's what. And the R1A, they got the R1A almost the same color as the I and the I2, but it's not the same. This is Semitic. This is Japhethite or Eurasian. What they call Eurasian, that's what that is. And notice all these E3s. These are the sons of Ham themselves. This is Put. This is Mitzrayim. This is Cush. It's even called Cush to this day. And look at this, Elamo Dravidian. And look at the Y chromosome of the Dravidians, H. That's Elamite Y chromosome, which of course is up in Europe, Gypsy, H1. Gypsies are Elamites. And if you look at their genetic makeup, they're, I don't know, they're a little less than half Judaic as well. They have, they're Jewish in Israel as well. They're not only Elamite, but they're Israel and Judah as well. So there's so much to learn, and let me just go ahead and cut this out. Say hi to everybody, acknowledge everybody I can. Jerome, Scott Oliver, haplotype IM170. That's my main group right there. IM170 is divided up between the I1 and the I2s, I believe. Okay, could you link that chat? Oh, that chart, JJ. I'm a little bit, I'll try to do it later. And fingerprints of God, yeah. It's all very, very interesting. And that's why I recommend that everybody do their DNA test, because once you do it, once you know your ancestor, whether it's Shem, Ham, or Japheth, you're going to want to know everything. So that's what's interesting about it. But I got to go, and sorry to run. Take care of everybody. God bless everybody. Stay close to God, because we are to be holy, not because we're holy, but because He is holy. We have to be holy. God bless everybody.